Good morning. Welcome to Exploring Economic Development with MEDC. I am Meredith Harris, and I'm so glad to have you joining us for episode 53 with a very special guest from the Executive Office of Economic Development, Naomi Berlin, to talk to us a little bit about today, the business front door. But before we get to our guest, we want to remind folks that if you're watching us on WMCT TV, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you're listening to us on Spotify, thank you very much. We're glad to have you. If you're able to add some comments in the space below, please do. If we don't get back to you right away, we would be happy to get back to you at some point. So please engage with us. Let us know what you think about the content. If you have questions, we do want to hear them. And so without further ado, I'm excited to introduce to you today our guest, Naomi Berlin from the Executive Office of Economic Development. Welcome, Naomi.
Thank you so much for having me, Meredith.
We're so glad to have you.
Yeah, and thank you for the work that you do here at the EDC. Like, our local partners are so important for us here at the state. So thank you. You guys just do such awesome work. So
Awesome.
I'm really thrilled to be here and to be in the offices.
Well, we're excited to have you. It's not often that we have a state guest that's here with us in studio. And so we're really glad to have you to hear your expertise, what's going on at the state level. And before I forget, I think I did forget quickly, but if you did not watch episode 52, it was a talk with President Mike Ossing from the City Council to talk all local politics and local things that were going on, local municipal government. So if you missed that episode 52, please make sure to check it out on all of our different platforms. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the state today. So a lot of fun about Marlboro, but there's a lot of good stuff going on in the Commonwealth as well. So Naomi, can you tell us, please, a little bit about yourself? How did you get into the industry? We actually joked with President Ossing last month about how municipal government in general, it's kind of a sickness. You have to really want to get into this line of work. And so how did you get into the line of work that you're in now?
It's a fun question to answer because it was not a direct path. I'm
Sure.
very glad that I'm here and I feel honored to do it. But I actually came from the private sector.
Okay.
So I spent the last 10 years running sales for a place called the Cambridge Innovation Center.
Okay.
And my job was essentially to grow their innovation campuses.
Amazing.
It was awesome. Such fantastic work. And in that job, I had the opportunity to meet then Secretary Yvonne Howe, who was appointed by...
She was great.
She's amazing, amazing. Just like such a powerhouse. And also came from the private sector and joined government work. And the Haley Driscoll administration brought her in to really think about, okay, we have a really strong economic foundation here in Massachusetts, but we cannot take that for granted.
Absolutely.
So how do we ensure that we level up just like other states are leveling up, other countries are leveling up? And part of her thinking was, okay, we actually need to do more to sell the state.
Isn't that the truth?
It's right, right. And so
it doesn't come easy,
It doesn't come easy. And we cannot take the businesses that we have here for granted. It's actually become more easier than ever before to leave.
Yeah.
So she brought in a salesperson, which is me. So that's how I got into this. And it has been like drinking from the fire hose, but it is so much fun. So much fun.
So
it's such an honor.
Been there almost a year?
Almost a year. Coming up my 1 year anniversary at the end of this month.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. I cannot believe how it's flown by.
And you must enjoy it because you continue to come back every day.
Yes. You know, it really is an honor.
That's
like
awesome.
I love it.
So, and it's funny you say that we were at Bio back in June in Boston, and you're right. You look around, you go to something like that where Massachusetts is leading the way in biomanufacturing and life sciences. That's our game, and we do really well at it. But other countries, other states, I mean, you walked around that floor and the competition was there.
Yeah,
right here in our backyard.
Be Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
Which is great. It's great to be at the top, but like you can be taken down at any point, so you have to continue.
Stay ahead of it.
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
So that's what we're focused on doing.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So for anybody that's watching that might not know, what is the Executive Office of Economic Development?
To be fair, I also didn't really know before I joined. We use so many acronyms in government. Right. What's the difference between all these things? So we sit in the executive branch.
Okay.
And we are the arm of the executive branch that's focused on growing the economy across the Commonwealth.
Okay.
So simple as that.
Simple as that. So you do what we do for Marlboro, but on a larger scale for the state of Massachusetts.
We look at the entire state and figuring out how we can drive economic investment across the Commonwealth.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
All right. And so what is your role specifically within
Okay. So I have the coolest job.
Love that.
So the title is a funny one. It's very wordy. It's the Assistant Secretary for Business Growth.
Love that.
But it's cool. But essentially what it means is my job, like every day, is to figure out how we can support our businesses to start, stay, and thrive in Massachusetts. And a lot of that comes down to how we can connect them to the resources that we have available to them at the the state. And I know we'll get
Amazing.
talking to that.
We're going to
soon.
talk a lot
Yes,
about all of
yes.
that because there's so many wonderful programs,
Yeah.
but I don't want to jump too far ahead yet. All right. So you guys have a newer secretary, right? So
He's about a month in, so
Yeah.
he's pretty new.
he's
Yeah.
doing a really good job.
Yeah.
And so we worked very closely with Yvonne Howe for however many years she was here. It feels like she was here for a really long time.
I know.
Jay Ash prior to that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of great people. Mike
Yeah.
Keneally, a lot of people that have come through that secretariat. Can you tell us a little bit about Eric Paley and what he's doing, what his priorities are? We can't wait to meet him.
Yeah,
So
we'll
tell
get
us
him
a
out
little
here
bit.
for sure. Maybe
Yeah.
he'll be episode 54. So
You heard it here, folks. first.
So first of all, we are very lucky to have someone like
Sure.
Secretary Paley in the role. You're right. There has been a lot of amazing people leading this agency in the past. And he comes at this from a super interesting perspective. But first of all, he's coming in 2 years in, which
Right.
is like,
Yeah.
kind of tough to do. And at the same time, Secretary Howe and the team put together like such a strong foundation. They canvassed the state, did a listening tour,
Sure.
and from that developed an economic development plan.
I remember we were there.
Exactly.
Yes.
That then turned into the Mass Lease Act, which was passed at
Amazing.
the end of December, which is a $4 billion economic development bond bill
Right.
that essentially allows us to lengthen our lead in the life sciences and in tough tech,
Right.
but also unlocked new resources for us to be leaders in things like climate tech and applied AI, as well as enable our businesses to access more resources. And so he's definitely focused on like implementing that plan, right? A lot of
Love
work is
that.
being done. We don't need to start from scratch, right? It's
Right.
there. At the same time, he has this really cool background as an investor and as a
So cool.
technologist. It's awesome in government to have
Right.
somebody who has that experience. So he's also thinking about, like, from an investor mindset, how do we get the most out of our investment? These are taxpayer dollars.
Right.
How are we making sure that they are catalytic?
Right.
And from a technologist mindset, right, he started a number of companies and has worked with a lot of technology companies to help them grow. How do we leverage technology, both within government, right? How are we using that to enable us to be more efficient and effective in the work that we're doing, particularly in economic development? And how do we also make sure we're not leaving anybody behind, knowing that things like AI, they're here.
Yep.
And
They're
as
not
he
going
says,
anywhere.
they're not going anywhere. He
Right.
actually has a great term. And AI is like a really good intern,
Yeah.
which I think is like the best way to think about it.
Yeah,
It
you
can
gotta
really
know how
help.
to utilize it.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah, but you always need to check it,
Sure,
right? Like,
for
but
sure.
it can get you a lot of the way there, right?
Right.
That's a lot of the foundational
Build
work.
the bones.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so how do we make sure that we're not only thinking about using it within our team, but that we are giving opportunities in K through 12 and higher ed
Sure.
and workforce to have opportunities to leverage AI?
I love
So
that.
I think there's going to be some cool things that are coming from his perspective too that we're excited to add on to the implementation we're already doing with Mass Leads.
Well, it's really interesting. You have somebody, you talk about his private sector experience, and that's kind of the way we try to operate here too. That when you're talking to businesses,
Yes.
they speak a different
Yes.
language than
Yes.
your municipality or your
Yes.
state government or whatever it is. And so it is really important to have somebody that can speak their language and understand where they're coming from and their challenges and the different things. Because if you don't meet them where they're at, you're never going to get anywhere.
100, and that was so critical. So Governor Healy was very focused on making sure that
Yeah.
in her administration, the economic development team was
Yeah.
led by people who come from
Who
the business
understood it.
sector. Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so tell us, my question for you this morning, we're going to talk a lot about Business Front Door. It's a great program. I can't wait to get to that topic. But can you tell us, there's so many other things too, right? So tell us maybe the top 3 utilized programs through, whether it's MOBD, Executive Office of Economic Development. And for folks that are watching, MOBD is the Mass Office of Business Development.
Yes, we love acronyms in
Yes.
government. That was like when I started, I got a glossary of like
like-
letters, and I was like, "What is all of this?" And then it just becomes second nature.
Yes.
So I'm thrilled by this question.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of programs that the state has that
Nobody knows about.
nobody knows about.
That's why we do this.
Yes,
right?
literally, my job before this was to like help startups grow and access state different resources, and I had no idea what existed at the state level. Okay, so I would say relevant to even your audience, I'm going to try to broaden these and come up with
Sure.
a few programs that I think are really helpful. So the first is the Economic Development Incentive Program,
Yep.
Which is
One of our favorites,
It's
by
one
the
of our.
way.
It became more competitive through the
Oh,
Mass
yeah.
Leads Act.
Yeah.
And essentially, this program incentivizes companies that are growing and creating jobs.
Yeah.
And so if a company is at an inflection point and they're
Mhm.
saying, okay, I am growing, and I don't know if I should do that here in Massachusetts.
Right.
We want them to access this program to say, no, do it
You
here, and we're
should.
going to help you.
Right.
And so we're going to help you by essentially, you're going to tell us how many new jobs you're roughly creating, and we're going to give you a tax credit for every new job you're bringing online.
It's incredible.
It's awesome. And
Yeah.
if you're a company that doesn't actually have a corporate tax liability, so those are startups mainly,
Yep.
you can also now access this program because they made it so that they're refundable tax credits, which essentially turns into like a check. When you're filing your own tax returns, right?
Right.
You get this tax return. That's what it looks like.
Amazing.
So it's very cool. So this program has become more competitive. And we're very excited about using it. So we do encourage businesses to check out this program.
Absolutely.
If you're adding jobs, like look at this and apply.
It's worth it.
It's so worth it.
Well, and we've talked about the TIFs, right?
Yes,
so the
yes.
tax incentive financing, they used to be tied together,
Yes.
and I think it was the Mass Leads Act
Yep.
that actually separated the two.
Exactly. And
But they still work hand in hand.
and it's still definitely encouraged to have some sort of form of local support. It
Right.
could be in the form of a TIF. We love when that
We love
happens
that.
because it makes it a more competitive package
Right.
for the business.
Right.
But even just like how they can connect with their EDCs and the local communities to get a letter of support, right?
Sure.
But it is very important for the businesses to be integrated in their community. But we decoupled
Yeah.
sort of the necessity of pairing it
community.
with a local financial contribution, which then enabled us to actually incentivize jobs in more
people.
communities
Right.
because some of them don't offer things like TIFs.
Well,
and
it's funny. We were like one of the only communities for a while, not the only one, but one of the only
Yes.
ones that weren't afraid to
Yes.
kind of go down this path. And, we've done a lot of different episodes. So anybody watching, check them out. I think we have 3 or 4 talking about TIFs and the benefits of TIFs because people sometimes don't understand how they work or how they benefit. And they really do benefit a community. You're not, when you're tiffing a real estate property taxes, you're not losing anything.
Exactly.
You're getting new growth in a community and you're only giving a savings on the additional value that's brought to the community.
Well said. Exactly.
And then but the jobs piece of it, that's where the state comes in. And that sometimes, more often than not, that piece is more important to the companies than even the community.
Yeah,
aspect
but
of
it's I do think that there is a power in it going hand in hand, and we really do try to encourage. It totally is.
Yeah.
So that is one program that we love.
Yeah.
That I definitely encourage businesses to check out. The other one is for really smaller businesses.
Okay.
1 to 20 people. It's called Biz-M-Power. It's
Okay.
offered through Mass Development.
Yep.
Which is one of our. We'll talk about all the
Partners.
different agencies and partners, but it's one of them. And it's essentially if you need to make a capital investment for your small business, they can help essentially cover those costs.
Yeah.
So an example is I live in the Rosendale area of Boston. And there is an awesome ice cream shop called Sweeties that I love. It's New Zealand ice cream. If you're in Rosendale, check it out. They just opened up 2 years ago. She was an architect who just decided one day, I don't want to be an architect. I want to open up an ice cream shop.
What better kind of...
I know. What a joy. But also, like, it is really freaking hard to run a small business and to start doing something that you've never done before.
They don't know where to start.
Exactly. And so as they sort of purchase these special equipment to make the special ice cream, they realized that they needed more equipment to essentially make this business financially viable and have the supply that they needed to sell. So they need to purchase this other ice cream machine and they applied to this grant and they got it, right? So it's like, so there are things like that even at the state level that can help small businesses too.
What dollar range would that
Ooh,
be?
good question.
Is it a couple thousand?
I think the grants are up to $20,000.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty great. These are very competitive programs.
Sure.
But the point is, like, be aware of them.
Apply.
And apply.
Right.
And you never know. And the teams across all of our programs do a lot of hand holding to the businesses to ensure that, like, there's always like info sessions and office hours and that sort of stuff to better
make it more
understand
cumbersome.
for these businesses who are super busy, to go down a path to then not even be eligible or whatever.
Right.
So I love that program. And the last one I'll talk about is, so workforce is obviously so critical to economic development.
Yeah.
And we have amazing workforce training resources that many people do not know about that, again, are relatively easy to access.
Yeah.
So when you think people, I think, also have this bias against government where it's like, oh my God, there's gonna be all this paperwork. There's so much bureaucracy. There's all this red tape. Right. We've gotten really good about making these programs as accessible as possible to apply to. And so the Workforce Training Fund is a really great one that I encourage every employer and employee to look at. Yeah. Where they essentially, if you are pursuing some sort of continuing education for your employee base, you can apply to this grant to just get it covered.
Amazing.
So it's awesome. It's really great.
We've seen a lot of companies use that one, but you're right. Not everyone knows about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so going back to the grants, so the name of that one was Biz-Power?
Biz-M-Power. So it's Biz-M-Power.
Love that. So we have a similar program. So we call it our toolbox programs, but it's exactly that. $20,000 to $25,000 for equipment, things like that. it all helps.
Yes.
Whether it's workforce training,
100%.
it all helps.
Yeah.
Especially for small business entrepreneurs, things like that.
Yes. And then things are becoming more expensive than ever before. So like definitely consider sort of the state options. They are not as overwhelming
as you think
as it
they
seems.
might be.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell everybody how to apply for all of these programs, but we'll get there, right? All right. So before we jump into Business Front Door, so we're talking about the most utilized programs. What are a few off the top of your head that people don't utilize that they should?
Yeah. I mean, I also love that question. And I would say like, essentially my job is to make sure that there are no underutilized programs because if there are, there's a couple of reasons, right? One is we're not marketing them well enough.
Sure.
Or we make them too burdensome, right? There's too many barriers to get through them. So then they need to be changed.
Okay.
And so there aren't actually one, like I think the Mass Leads Act really did a lot of work. Like we really did a lot of work in evaluating the programs that we have.
Sure.
And ensuring that they are achieving their intended impact.
Mm-hmm.
But what's also very cool is that we continue to collect data to better understand, like, okay, is this solving this need that we thought we were trying to solve? Exactly. So I'm going to sort of dodge the question a little bit, but just say like, ideally there is no underutilized program, or else that program goes away or is shifted.
Well, you know what? That's actually a great answer because if it's not working, fix it, right?
Exactly. And again, this team is really hungry to ensure that we're having an intended impact.
I love that. Okay, so drum roll, please. We're going to talk about your new program, or it's not new, but newer. Again, something you guys just rolled out. But honestly, from a local economic development perspective, this is phenomenal. So it's called the Business Front Door, which for years we've been saying there's so many programs, there's so much information out there, there's so many resources, but if you don't know where to find any of it, forget it. You're going through websites, you're trying to click here and click there, and you don't know what you're doing. So please tell us about how you guys are intending to solve this problem.
Yeah, exactly right. Like when we started in this administration and we canvassed the business community,
that was probably one of the biggest.
Yes, they were like, wait, you guys have resources, and like even if you knew that you had them, like there are like a couple dozen of these. Like how do you even navigate them and know which one is right for you?
Right.
So the Business Front Door is first and foremost a tool that enables businesses to come onto the Business Front Door website.
I love the name, by the way.
It's great. Very easy. It's like we are the front door, right? That is the goal. And by signing up, they tell us what they need.
Okay.
And when they tell us what they need, they're then paired with a member of our team who can say, okay, great. You said that you had these needs. Here are the things that you need to be looking at.
Okay.
So we are providing that tailored fit list of resources to help support their growth, solve their needs, et cetera. Right.
Based
so we
on
are
what they're telling
what they're telling us. It's a needs analysis. And this is not like a whole multiple page. They have to answer a few questions.
Sure.
And say like, hey, I'm growing or I'm having issues with this, et cetera. Right. And we can actually just help provide them with answers, point them to the right resources to meet them where they are, and they can keep coming back. But essentially, we're trying to lower the barrier of connecting with the state. And also, we're doing a lot of the interpretation for them because we know how confusing and how hard it is to know which one's a fit.
You'll get so far down an application and then something happens and you're like, forget it, never mind.
100%. Right. And it's like, I just want to talk to a human.
Right.
Right. So like we're enabling them to do that and to talk to the right human.
The right human.
Yeah.
So who's on the other end, right?
Yeah.
So like when you put in the application, who's receiving it?
Yeah. So this is one of the coolest parts about my job too. So I'm wearing these bracelets, Team Massachusetts.
I have mine. I have both of them.
I saw some when I came in. I love it. What's cool about economic development is we sit in the executive arm. We also have all these like agencies and quasi agencies that do economic development as well under us that are industry experts or regional experts.
Right.
And so what we did was, what used to happen is a business, if they knew of any of these things existing, they would talk to each of these groups separately. That is so time consuming.
Absolutely.
So instead we want to flip it. And we said, okay, you tell us what you need and we're going to tell you who to talk to. So the business is paired with the relevant person on Team Massachusetts.
Love that.
So on the other end, it might be, if you say I'm a business in life science, then we're connecting you with the business development team at the Massachusetts Life Science Center.
Right.
If you're saying I'm a Marlboro and I'm a small business, we're going to connect you with Kevin Kuros from the Massachusetts Office of Business Development. So we have ways on the back end to essentially matchmake and say, based on what you're telling us, here is the best person to talk to who is going to be your concierge to navigate the state.
Right. And then so Kevin Kuros then would be able to loop our team in.
100%. Because he is the expert in the region. Exactly.
Right.
So we're doing a lot of that work on the back end. So the business will see very quickly, oh, this is we're calling them navigators.
So yeah, team navigator, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So they're going to help you navigate working with the state.
And I think we have a slide that kind of shows
Oh,
all the different
I love
partners. But I mean, some that we work very closely with, Mass Development,
Yeah.
Mass Econ. I mean, some of these groups that have been doing phenomenal work for years in the space. It's really great to see directly working. You know, I know Mass Development always has, but Mass Econ in particular, I'm a board member at Mass Econ. But like to see the collaboration, it's something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have tried it, and I think the time was ripe.
Yeah.
And what's also really cool is I can just speak again from a sales background. We have this tool now. But in addition to the tool, the team we're all focusing on how we support our businesses. So we're all united on the same goal.
Right.
And what's really cool is every week we actually meet with every agency.
Really?
We have I call it like a sales pipeline call. Like, okay,
Wow.
what businesses did you talk to this week? What do they tell you they need?
Yeah.
Like we have them in the system, but how are we also communicating between agencies to make sure that we are leaving no stone unturned?
Well, and you're sharing information.
Exactly.
Right.
Because what used to happen is you had to know the person
Right.
or you had to know that this program existed. Right.
Right.
And now because we're just actually operating as a team, we're sharing a lot more information and we're approaching each of these opportunities as a team versus like talk to this person, talk to this person, talk to this
More
person.
siloed.
And we don't even know what each other is saying.
Right. All right. So one of the things that I know you guys are asking companies when they apply is barriers for growth in Mass. What are you guys hearing? What are the barriers for growth in Mass?
I can share what we hear. I'm sure it's what you guys hear and what we experience. And also, like, we look at this every day. How does Massachusetts measure against our competition? And when I say competition, who do we lose the most jobs to?
Yeah.
And we hear three things, both from our business community and from the data. We know it's cost of living, right? We need to improve there. We need to improve on our ease of doing business.
Okay.
And we need to lower the costs of doing business. And so
a tall order.
Such a tall order. And again, we were talking about this before, like what's been so impressive about, I'm new to the public sector. I'm new to this administration, and I am so impressed by the leadership in this administration that is rolling up their sleeves and saying, this is hard.
They're hard.
This is hard, but this is important, and it is on us to solve it. We cannot kick the can down the road.
Right.
And so when it comes to cost of living, we know that is so much tied to, we need more housing, right? We need an abundance of housing. So the MBTA Communities Act is going to,
work MBTA community.
Yes. Thank you, Marlboro.
Yes.
Really important, right? To add more housing.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, the administration also is working with essentially the environmental review process, MEPA, to ensure that certain housing projects are kind of pre-qualified so that they can get this environmental review process approved within 30 days instead of a year.
Yeah.
So that can really help speed up. It is huge to speed up development. Developers, like it is hard when you have these timelines, when things are so expensive to build, right? It's very hard to say, yes, you need to build more homes, but we don't really make it easy for them to do so. We're trying to make it easier.
Yeah. So you guys they just filled the new role.
Oh, yes. I will talk about that actually with the ease of doing. You're talking about the permitting ombudsperson?
Yes. I just met with him yesterday.
Oh, Doug. What a gem. I'm so excited about Doug.
He's great.
So
what was the purpose?
Yeah. So that was cost of living, right? More housing, ease of doing business.
Right.
So I would say that falls into two categories. The first is like permitting.
Yeah.
So this is what Doug, he's our permitting ombudsperson. He's focused on doing. How do you pair with municipalities to help them navigate the permitting process?
It's incredible.
How do you be a point of escalation, right? So he can just work between agencies and like escalate up, escalate down, all these things to just help speed things through.
Right.
Such an important job. Very, very hard, and could not imagine a better person for that task. Who was so eager to get this thing done. So
I've met him in person once. I've done 2 Zooms with him so far. He's great.
Yes, and like
he's out there.
He literally just started also like 6 weeks ago. So the fact that you've already had these, that's
incredible.
amazing. That's really great. He's gonna be so excited that we had this conversation.
But honestly, you go back to this idea of, putting yourself in the mindset of a private company. They don't have the time to wait. And we were talking about the 43D program in particular, and kind of this idea of we're going to get you your permits in 6 months. And my feedback to Doug was, we got to do it in less time than that because they don't have 6 months to wait.
100%. That is like the thing.
Time is money.
Time is for businesses, like government. historically has not operated at the same pace as businesses.
Right.
And it is really hard. And so what can we look at? How can we make these types of improvements? And so in permitting, I think there's a lot that's coming down that I'm very excited about.
It's awesome.
There. And then I will also say, in terms of the ease of doing business, the business front door will also help with that.
Absolutely.
So there's like two
let's
paths.
go back.
No, but I think what's been really a great learning process about the business front door. So we launched in July, and there's two paths. The first is that resource path that I was talking about, where business says what they need, and then we can provide some recommendations. There's also this way for them to ask us a question.
Okay.
Which is really cool.
It's kind of new.
It's new.
Yeah.
And it essentially, like, I personally know how time intensive it is to, like, okay, I'm having this issue with my, like, taxes or certification or procurement or whatever. And I'm going to, like, all these mass.gov websites, and I'm like, I don't know, this is giving me, like, a phone number, and maybe that person doesn't pick up, or there's a long wait, right? Like, I just need someone to tell me what the answer is.
Absolutely.
So we have a whole team that is focused on that through the business front door
Telling
as
you
well.
the answer.
Literally. So you can just ask us a question. Now, this takes us a little bit longer, right? The resource track, we're saying we're trying to get back to you within a day.
A day?
A day. Yes. We're focused on, like, customer service, right? Like, we want to make sure that we are getting, whether it's not, like, it might just be like, hey, let's set up a call because I want to learn more.
I need to know more information. Mm-hmm.
But in the inquiry track, we call it. So in asking us a question, a business can ask us any question, and we have a team that's essentially contacting each of our other agencies to get the answer for you. Because the challenge is, like, government is both so siloed and complicated. Like, you might have to talk to 3 or 4 different agencies to get the answer that you need.
Right. And you don't know who to call.
No, right. But, like, we do.
You do.
So imagine if government could do that for you. If you had a person in the state who did that for you, the onus is on us, not on the business.
Well, that's government acting like a business, which is great.
Exactly. So I really think that's going to help improve on our ease of doing business. And I'll just talk about
that's in the business front door
as well? That's in the business front door too.
Okay.
Yes. So, and we're learning, you can imagine, like, we're just already learning so much about, frankly, where our communication breaks down by the types of questions the businesses are asking us and saying that they can't find answers to.
Right.
So this is also just giving us, like, a ton of information about how we, as all of government, can do better to serve our business community. And I'm very excited for what's going to come from a lot of these learnings. And the last thing I want to talk about, just because I really do think it's important when we look at our, like, sort of the constraints and our ability, like, what's holding, where our challenges is around the cost of doing business. And a big piece of this we know is our energy costs. They're amongst the highest in the country. Okay. So this is what we hear from our business community a lot. Like, we are trying to invest more in manufacturing and in biomanufacturing, climate tech. And the thing that I hear from all these companies is, like, these energy costs are really high. Yeah. And it's because we have to import our energy. And so we know the answer to that is going to be climate tech and homegrown solutions. Unfortunately, we are not there yet at the commercialization level to make that happen at scale. We're working on it. Right. And in the meantime, the administration is super focused on, like, how do we make our bills more affordable? And there's a team that's focused on creating these energy-ready zones. Okay. It's cool to sort of speed up interconnection. Because what we often hear about is, like, okay, I have this need, but it's going to take me 5 to 7 years in Massachusetts to get the energy to support this. So I'm just going to go to North Carolina and I'm going to build this whole thing. And then, we'll come back in, like, 5 years. Right. But it's like, no, we cannot lose that opportunity now. Yeah. Right.
So that's funny. We hear often from folks that are, and I am not an energy person, don't get me wrong, but, the grid and tying into the grid and the capacity, and that there's issues around that. We've heard that from a couple of different new developments, existing companies. So
I would say it's one of the biggest barriers to growth here. And the solution is going to be a technological solution. Okay. And that's why, like, it is the number of clients. I, like, am so hopeful that we are going to solve this. It's going to take a little bit more time. A little bit of time. And this is, like, we're in a moment of crisis. Like, we need to solve this now. So there's a number of other things that the team is working on while the climate tech opportunities grow. We're
growing. Yeah. And you've put a ton of resources behind climate tech in Massachusetts growing. Yeah. Yeah. The Mass Leads Act was so great. I mean, we followed it so closely here, and it stalled for a little bit, then it came back, and we were really glad to see that kind of push through.
Yeah, it unlocked so many tools for us to essentially support all of the climate tech activity that's happening here.
It's incredible. Yeah. So, all right, business front door, just to round it out a little bit, who can apply? And who is applying?
Everybody. So everybody can apply. It's open to every business. Okay. essentially when a business signs up, they tell us like who they are, what community they're in, how many employees they have, what industry they're in, and their size.
Yep.
And so we do see the majority of the companies that are coming in are actually at the level which you expect. They're at a period of growth.
Yep.
So they want and need something, which is exactly when we want to talk to them.
Sure.
We do have groups that come in that are concept phase.
Okay.
They say, I have an idea and I actually just don't know where to start.
What to do.
Right. We can still support them. Maybe we can't support them in terms of grants and funding resources because the state is going to be a little bit more risk averse with our taxpayer dollars.
We should be.
But we can point them to opportunities to help them get to that next level.
Sure.
And then you have established businesses, mature businesses who are also coming in. What's also very cool about this, and again, coming from a sales background, this is kind of like our CRM.
Yep.
So
you're collecting data.
Exactly. So even if it's a business that hasn't come through the front door, our team is also logging our business interactions in the system on the back end. So even if it's a mature business, what's really helpful is that somebody at the Mass Life Science Center can now know that, oh, I just had this conversation with this large life science company, and here's the background, here's the information. I'm going to tag you into this so that you can jump right. So it also works on the back end to help us organize our own
it's making
business development operation
too.
Totally. So it is really truly for everybody. And so we encourage all businesses to come in. Some just might see different opportunities because we know we have specific sets of resources for specific sizes and industry areas.
Do you guys find that there is a specific type of company so far that is applying? Are you seeing more small entrepreneurs? Are you seeing the larger companies, or is it kind of widespread?
I think it's pretty widespread, honestly.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
we're
great.
seeing it across the gamut. And it's usually just like, I'm at a period of growth or I have a specific need.
And I'm interested.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're coming to us. But hopefully podcasts like this also help get the word out.
Well, absolutely. And I think it's really important. You guys are doing a great job with the marketing, and, we jump on the calls that are happening once a month or whatever it is. And always great information. You guys are trying really hard to kind of get this information out to the businesses. So whatever we can do to help support that, we want to.
Thank you. And I really view this like we put out a product, this tool that is like truly, we call it an MVP in the private sector, a minimum viable product. It's just like, and it is working.
Yeah.
It's great. We are going to continue to build off of this thing. This is version 1.
Yeah.
And so we want people to use it. We want people to tell us how it's working. There's a whole survey component too. After a week, we ask them like, how'd we do?
Right.
And so we are trying to iterate to ensure that this is continuing to grow with the business community's needs and our own resources in the state.
Right. And it can really help companies.
Oh, yeah.
Take it to the next level.
Totally. And at the very least, but they can just easily talk to somebody from the state.
Right.
They can get connected with somebody who can then help them figure out what's next.
And is it really taxing on your team? I mean,
No,
it's not. Okay,
great.
I was going to say, I can imagine it would be, but
I actually think it's given, there's, technology enables a lot of efficiencies too.
Sure.
It's allowed us to like triage more, to bucket, sort of to like help spread out a lot of the opportunities and to sort of be more intentional about who a business is talking to.
I love
so far it's been very doable.
Love that.
Yeah.
So one other program I did want to talk to, because it's one that we recently, were awarded some funds through it, and we're excited about it, and one that we've taken advantage of in the past, but the vacant storefront program.
Oh my God.
It's another great one.
Such a great one. I'm so glad that you guys are taking advantage of. We saw more municipalities than ever before sign up for the program.
Yeah, there was a lot of competition this year, right?
Yeah. Yes. And this is, and I think that almost everybody who applied actually got it though.
Amazing.
Because we wanted to ensure that this was being utilized. And it's a really great opportunity to sort of, again, like revitalize vacant spaces in your community.
So we've done a lot to our downtown. We've made a lot of progress over the years, but it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard. I mean, you can put all the bones in place, and, from a municipality standpoint, we put the zoning in place, and then sometimes you have developers that will come in and they put a proposal in and they get everything they need from the city side, and then they can't get the funding, or they can't get the financing, and it falls flat. And so then we're standing there scratching our heads going, okay, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? And so it's really important to have resources available that when there is an opportunity, you can jump on it.
Totally. And I would be remiss to not plug the Community One Stop for Growth here as well,
yes.
Which partners with municipalities and essentially combined all these different programs. So the municipality says, here is what I need, or here's what I'm trying to do. And then we then say, okay, great. Here is the program that the state has that you should apply for.
And so that one's specifically for municipalities.
Exactly.
So, okay, again, just kudos to the administration of the team, because before, and I've been in the role for 10 years, been in government for longer than I want to admit, but there was never been a time where it was so easy to kind of just say, here's my problem.
Yeah.
Can you help me fix it?
We're trying. We're
Can you
really
help me
trying.
fix it?
Totally.
So you've got platforms for not only businesses, but also for municipalities.
Exactly. And I will say the business front door was modeled off of the success
Okay.
of the Community One Stop program.
Yeah.
Right. How do you take, I think there's 10 programs in the Community One Stop. How do you make it easier for municipalities to navigate these things? And some of these, you guys have an awesome team here. Some
But
of
not
these are
everybody
like,
does.
no,
Right.
our rural communities, like, I mean, it's, you might not even have a full-time administrator.
Right.
But they have such important needs.
Right.
So how do we make it easier for them? Right. So that's it's also run through our agency. It's a whole different team. So I'm on the business side. We have a whole community facing side, but the business front door is building on the success of understanding, wow, there was like
a need here.
Exactly. There was a need here.
Yeah.
So how do we do it on the business side where it's actually, there's even more programs,
right,
and the needs are like so varied and
so
it's super complicated.
Yeah,
totally.
diversity. You're right. Well, and we were a frequent flyer for the MassWorks program,
Yes.
which we have been very, very grateful to receive lots of funds from the state for many years. But the One Stop allowed us to kind of explore other opportunities that we might not have been aware of.
Exactly. And how are you supposed to know?
Right.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
And we're lucky. We've got a full team of people that are looking at these things and attending the meetings, but not everybody does.
Exactly. So we're trying to make it easier.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked a lot about the business front door, the programs, all the things. How do people find you guys, and how do you sign up for business front door? Walk us through kind of what do you do next?
That. Okay. Very easy.
Okay.
mass.gov/BFD.
Love it.
Which stands for business front door, although it also stands for something else, because I do think this is a very big deal.
Right.
So that's where people can go.
It's another acronym.
Yes, exactly. But this one is more, I think, known.
I love it.
Yeah. So if people go there, they can not only sign up for the business front door, it's actually embedded within this other website that we have called Why Massachusetts. So this was like, again, sales. Yes. I was like, we just need to say like why you need to be in Massachusetts.
Right. Tell
Let's
people.
talk about our like quality of life and our leadership and our talent and innovation and our sectors. And then then say like, okay, great. You love Massachusetts. Here's how you can get connected with us. And then it goes through the business front door.
Right.
There's also ways on that website to explore resources before you even enter into the front door.
Is it like once you get in, do you have to give a lot of information?
No. It's super simple to sign
so
up.
People aren't going to be kind of like, ooh.
No. It literally takes like a minute. You sign up, you give us the
basics.
The basics. And then you're immediately connected with a human.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the business to decide how they want to interact, right?
Which path they want to go down.
Exactly. And some of them are just like, oh, I just want to sign up because I was curious, and maybe I'll come back when I need something, which is also totally fine. But there's 2 other tabs on the website. So you can even sort of scan the resources that are available before you even go in.
Okay.
To just get a sense of like what is out there.
That's great. I mean, so even if people aren't signing up, they're still getting exposure to the different things.
Yes, truly. Like the fact that there wasn't a website, a single page that has like the resources that are available to you. So it's like sometimes it is the basics.
I know.
So as part of this process, we just like consolidated that onto a page.
Right.
And then there's also another page where it's about like just starting your business, and it's more of like the technical of like you have to register for the Secretary of the Commonwealth
You
and
should
make
have a business plan.
Exactly. So there's that stuff too. But again, trying to put it all in one place
and make it easy for
to make it easier. Exactly.
And I think years ago when I first started, there was like a sheet of paper that listed all the different things, which was great.
Yes.
But to your point, it's 2025,
Yes.
and why don't we have this listed on a website somewhere?
Exactly.
Oh my
and there's even more that's coming related to how businesses interact with mass.gov,
right?
Which the whole tech team is going to be working on.
Awesome.
But this is a start, so I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
All right. So that's anything else about Business Front Door that we're missing? Did we forget to ask you anything that's really important?
No, just like check it out, give us feedback. At mass.gov/BFD.
BFD.
Yes. BFD. You will remember that. We'll never forget it. Yes.
All right. So before we let you go, we're wrapping up against time, but is there anything else you think? So we have businesses of all sizes in Marlboro. We've got the entrepreneurs. We've got small businesses here on Main Street. We've got mid-sized business. We've got Boston Scientific, Quest, Cytiva. So anything you want any of them to know that you guys offer, or what would be your messaging to any of those companies?
Yeah, I think basically it's that we care.
Okay, love that.
We are grateful that they're here. We do not take it for granted. And so we want them to get in touch with us, whether it's just to say
hello,
hi, right? And we are trying as much as possible to say thank you. Thank you for being here. And also tell us what you need. Tell us
give
what
us
is
your
hard.
feedback.
Yes. Like, because we care, we don't take this for granted.
Yeah.
And so I think like you will see all of us like just like all over the state,
Yeah.
essentially with the same message, like, thank you for being here and tell us what you need.
Right.
Because we want you to continue to stay and grow here.
Well, and I think, the Healy Driscoll administration too, Lieutenant Governor was a mayor herself for many, many years before becoming Lieutenant Governor. And so she gets it too.
She gets it. Oh my God. She is my favorite closer, to be honest. Like, I
Yeah.
love bringing her in to our business meetings, and for her to really like, she just gets it.
Boots on the ground.
Totally.
And I
Yes,
love
this is again a team that rolls up their sleeves and get it done.
Yeah. BFD.
Yeah, exactly. It is a BFD.
That's right. Naomi, thank you so much.
Sure.
We
Oh my
really
God, thank you,
appreciate
Meredith.
you
It was
here. We'd love to
fun.
have you back another
Yes,
time when you guys
anytime.
have more amazing programs that you're
Yeah.
rolling out, and really great information for our companies here in Marlboro and across the Commonwealth. So
Awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the work that you do.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Exploring Economic Development with MEDC, and we look forward to the next one. Have a great day, everybody.